The rain hammered against the windshield as Marcus Webb's private car pulled up to his estate 3 hours earlier than expected. His business meeting in Singapore had been canceled last minute, and something, call it instinct or fate, had urged him to come home immediately. As one of the youngest billionaires in tech, Marcus was used to controlling every variable in his life, but nothing could have prepared him for what he was about to witness. Through the ornate iron gates, past the manicured gardens that cost more than most people's homes, Marcus saw something that made his blood run cold. His fiancée, Victoria Sterling, the woman he'd planned to marry in just 2 months, stood on the marble steps of his home. In her perfectly manicured hands, she held a bucket, and she was dumping its contents over 2 figures huddled on the ground. Dirty mop water cascaded over his mother and his 6-year-old daughter. Marcus didn't remember getting out of the car. He didn't remember running. But suddenly he was there, his $1,000 shoes splashing through the filthy puddles, gathering his sobbing daughter Emma into his arms while his mother, Margaret, sat frozen in shock, her silver hair dripping with grimy water that reeked of ammonia and filth. "What the hell is going on here?" His voice came out low, dangerous, a tone his business rivals had learned to fear. Victoria spun around, her face going pale beneath her expertly applied makeup. The bucket clattered to the ground. "Marcus, you're home early. I can explain." "Explain?" He held Emma closer as she buried her face in his neck, her small body shaking with sobs. "Explain why you just dumped dirty water on my mother and daughter?" "They deserved it," Victoria snapped, and for a moment her mask slipped completely. The sweet, charitable socialite he thought he knew vanished, replaced by someone cold and cruel. "Your mother has been undermining me since I moved in. And that child is spoiled rotten. Someone needed to teach them their place." Margaret slowly rose to her feet, water dripping from her cardigan, the one Emma had given her for her birthday, now ruined. "Marcus, please, let's go inside." "Their place?" Marcus interrupted, his voice rising. "This is their home. Their place is wherever they damn well want to be in this house." "I'm going to be your wife," Victoria said, desperation creeping into her voice. "I'm going to be the lady of this house. They need to understand that things are going to change around here." Emma lifted her head from Marcus's shoulder. Her brown eyes, so like her late mother's, were red and swollen. "She said Mommy was nobody," she whispered. "She said I'm just a burden, and Grandma is a peasant who should be in a nursing home." The words hit Marcus like a physical blow. Emma's mother, Sarah, had been his college sweetheart. They'd built his first company together in their garage, surviving on ramen and dreams. She died in a car accident 4 years ago, and the grief had nearly destroyed him. His mother had moved in to help raise Emma, sacrificing her own retirement plans to be there when he couldn't be, which, he admitted with shame, had been far too often. Is that true? He looked at Victoria. Really looked at her, perhaps for the first time since they'd started dating 8 months ago. She lifted her chin defiantly. "I said we needed to set boundaries. Your mother treats this place like she owns it, and Emma is completely undisciplined. I was just trying to get out." "What? Get out of my house, now! The engagement is off." Victoria's expression shifted through several emotions, shock, anger, fear, before settling on desperation. "Marcus, don't be ridiculous. You can't throw away what we have over this. Think about the merger with my father's company. Think about the social connections. Think about your image. A billionaire needs a wife who can—" "I need a partner who has basic human decency," Marcus cut her off. "I need someone who would never, ever treat my family like trash. Get your things and go. I'll have your belongings sent to you." "You're going to regret this," Victoria hissed, her true nature fully exposed now. "Do you know how many men would kill to have me? I'm doing you a favor by even considering marrying you, a widower with baggage. My daughter is not baggage. My mother is not baggage. And you—" He paused. "You were the mistake." After Victoria stormed off, Marcus carried Emma inside while supporting his mother. In the bathroom, as he helped them clean up, the full story emerged. Victoria had been systematically cruel whenever he wasn't around, making snide comments about Margaret's clothes, her cooking, her very presence. She'd told Emma that she'd be shipped off to boarding school after the wedding. She'd thrown away Margaret's belongings, claiming they were clutter. Today, when Margaret had asked Victoria not to remove Sarah's portrait from the living room, Victoria had exploded. "Why didn't you tell me?" Marcus asked, his heart breaking as he gently towel-dried Emma's hair. Margaret looked away. "You seemed happy. After Sarah, you'd been so lost. We thought we could handle it." "Grandma said we should try harder to be nice," Emma added softly. "So you could be happy again?" Marcus felt tears burning his eyes. His mother and daughter had endured abuse to protect his happiness that had been built on a lie. He'd been so focused on moving forward, on not being alone, that he'd ignored what really mattered. "I'm so sorry," he whispered, pulling them both close. "I should have been here. I should have noticed. I should have protected you." "You're here now," Margaret said simply, patting his hand. That night, after Emma finally fell asleep clutching her favorite stuffed bear, Marcus sat with his mother in the kitchen, the heart of their home. The same kitchen where Sarah had tested recipes for her catering business, where Emma had taken her first steps, where Margaret had baked cookies for every school event he'd been too busy to attend. "I've been a terrible son," he said, "and a worse father." Margaret poured them both tea, something she always did in times of crisis. "You've been grieving and trying to provide for Emma. But Marcus, money isn't what she needs most. I know that now." He wrapped his hands around the warm mug. "I thought I was honoring Sarah's memory by building the business bigger, making sure Emma would never want for anything. But Sarah would have been here. She would have noticed what was happening." "Sarah would want you to live again," Margaret said gently. "But with someone who sees people as people, not accessories to a lifestyle." Over the following weeks, Marcus restructured his entire life. He promoted his COO and stepped back from day-to-day operations. He started working from home 3 days a week. He attended Emma's school plays, her soccer games, her parent-teacher conferences. He and Margaret cooked dinner together each night, badly at first, but with increasing competence and a lot of laughter. The story of what happened leaked, as such things do. Victoria tried to spin it in her favor, but too many household staff members had witnessed her behavior. The business deal with her father's company fell through, but Marcus discovered he didn't care. His stock portfolio mattered less than the portfolio of crayon drawings Emma was creating for him. 6 months later, at Emma's school fundraiser, Marcus met Caroline, a widowed teacher who made his daughter laugh and treated Margaret with genuine warmth. She drove a 10-year-old sedan and had never heard of his company. Their first conversation was about children's literacy programs, not social status. "Is that your daughter?" she asked, pointing to Emma, who was helping Margaret set up the bake sale table. "That's my daughter," he confirmed. "And my mother. They're my whole world," Caroline smiled. "Anyone can see that. The way you look at them, that's everything." Marcus thought about that moment later, about how close he'd come to losing everything that truly mattered. He'd nearly married someone who saw his mother as a nuisance and his daughter as an inconvenience. He'd almost traded his family's dignity for social standing. That night, as he tucked Emma into bed, she looked up at him with those serious brown eyes. "Daddy, are you happy now?" He thought about the question, really thought about it. He was less rich on paper. The canceled merger had cost him. He was less socially prominent. Victoria's circle had closed ranks against him, but he was there for Emma's nightmares. He'd learned his mother's stories from her childhood. He'd started living in moments instead of chasing the next deal. "Yeah, baby girl," he said, kissing her forehead. "I really am." "Good," Emma yawned. "Grandma says sometimes you have to lose fancy things to find real treasure." Marcus smiled. His mother, with her simple wisdom and endless patience, had been right all along. The real treasure had been there the whole time, in a silver-haired woman who'd sacrificed her golden years and a little girl with crayon-stained fingers. He'd almost lost them chasing fool's gold. As he turned off Emma's light and walked downstairs, he heard Margaret humming in the kitchen, probably preparing tomorrow's lunchboxes, a task she insisted on even though they could afford a full staff. He joined her, picking up a sandwich to help. She glanced at him and smiled. "You know, for a billionaire, you make a pretty decent sandwich." I had a good teacher, he replied. And in that simple moment, surrounded by ordinary love in an extraordinary house, Marcus Webb finally understood what wealth really meant.